Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information. Well, hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody's having a fantastic time. It's our Google user Nick Hammerschmidt and Harvey Santiago and Mr. WTF and invited homie. So, as per usual during KTea time, it's mainly a podcast type conversation in between me and obviously Mandalorian as well. We're going to be talking about the recent happenings, and since there hasn't been too much happening this month in MCOC, we can talk about some upcoming things as well, do some speculation type stuff. Hopefully it should be fun. As the title above the screen says that we are reading the messages in the chat. However, in order to have like a coherent conversation, we are not replying to all of them. And yeah, that being said, let's welcome Mandalorian and get this thing started.
What's up, party people? Let's get this going.
Yeah, exactly. I have a nice hot man flu comfort drink or whatever they call it. So that should hopefully put me in a good mood for this conversation, because there's a lot of yucky stuff to talk about as well, unfortunately. But before we get into all of that, I wanted people watching this to be the first ones to know that I did, in fact, got the Jubilee 5-star in Arena. Just now came in. I haven't managed to record like a video or anything. For those of you who were following the channel over the last 3 days or so, I did put up a fairly cash grind. I only pretty much used my 6 stars, to be fair, and I did basically 4 hours a day, 2 in morning, 2 in evening. No refresh, no nothing. I put up just a touch over 50 million. That seems to have netted me spot 266.
Damn, she went for over 45, I bet that. Probably went closer to 270 to 47 to 48.
Yeah, something like that probably, but we're gonna wait till somebody says that. Right. All that being said, let's get it started, and we're gonna have to once again, for the second week in a row, unfortunately, speak about all the atrocities happening here and all the bugs happening here. Right?
Oh yeah, bugs. Don't we love bugs?
Absolutely wonderful. Which one has gotten you most happy about playing
The
MCOC
most
right
happy
now?
bug? Well, this week it's been the random crashes. Just, I'm in the middle of doing something. Oh, bye, game's gone. It decided I had enough. That one has been what's been bugging me the most. I have stayed away from a lot of the champions I know that are bugged. But yeah, luckily it hasn't happened in the middle. No, I take that back. It did happen in the middle of Alliance Quest. It happened one time in the middle of Alliance Quest. I joined and hit fight, and I was sitting there on the screen waiting, and then all of a sudden, after a long period of seeing the Jubilee loading screen, it kicked me out of the app, force closed the app, and I had to restart it. Lost half my health.
I have been quite fortunate. My game has crashed like a couple of times, but that is about it. I have had a lot of messages though from frustrated players about this situation, and it sucks. It sucks without doubt. Obviously, Spider-Ham is something we're going to talk a bit separately. But we have had unprecedented amount of crashes, as far as I can tell. Obviously, that goes accompanied with A-gun bugs, with Nick Fury starting in the second life, with Human Torch or White Magneto pre-fight not activating.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been tricky. I must say this, that I have been relatively fortunate. Like, nothing too crazy or too infuriating has happened.
Right.
But overall, it just creates this quite immense amount of negativity. I mean, we can go to the known issues here, and there is an absolute heap ton. Many of them are allegedly resolved, but there are plenty that are under investigation or going to be resolved in future updates. What's surprising is the like Omega Red bug. Still like, whew.
Yeah.
That's been like half a year, man.
That's
been brought
been a
up by
long time.
multiple YouTubers and everybody.
Obviously, they took away the piggy bank last year. Vision Argus's prestige and PI is lower than it's supposed to be. You know, they had the Nick Fury bug where it happens like every month when there's a new update. It's happened for like the past like 5 months, where every time it comes out.
Yeah, it's kind of like with the Nick Fury thing, isn't it? It kind of gets fixed,
that's what I'm
kind
saying.
of comes out.
It comes out every time there's an update.
Yeah, Aegon as well. Aegon was bugged for most of
yeah.
the month, and people were like really, really pressed, you know, to, well, have their items expire for those of you who had accumulated and planned to do like Abyss or Labyrinth or whatever
Yeah,
content.
it's
and even now.
Because
Sorry.
think about it. This is a month that doesn't have a lot of content. A lot of people just got a lot of new rank ups, a lot of new materials and stuff. They just got new champions. You know, maybe they spent out on Christmas Day or whatnot, or got money for their holiday money. And so they are ready to go into Abyss, and they go in there and find out the champion they need for majority of the fights to ramp up is bugged. I mean, how's that fair?
Yeah, well, it isn't. That's why
Yeah.
we will have to have the mandatory compensation talk. And I must say, I'm not often the guy who wants extreme compensation. And in this case in particular, I personally also don't feel entitled, myself, personally, because nothing really has put me, like, out of my way too much, right? But then again, even Aegon now, who's supposedly fixed, but he still doesn't stack the Furies below 100 combo, I believe? Something like that. So he's kind of fixed, hashtag not really. And, it's just created this entire atmosphere around the chats where everybody is kind of like being sarcastic, naive, making fun of Kabam, everybody is a bit pissed off. And, whoops, this is the wrong one, we're gonna get to that in a second.
It's just a bad look every time you release an update, and it gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, and they're definitely having, and again, typically I'm quite famous for teasing people when they say, oh, I definitely parried or I definitely dashed back and stuff like that. I have had myself it happen over the last 2 months where my champion just freezes, whereas I'm 100% sure I throw an attack after a parry or something and nothing happens, and I have to go and try and do it the second time and I get smacked in the face because I'm too late or something. And
yeah, that's happened to me before too.
It's kind of like the entire phone kind of like just spazzes out for a second and nothing happens. Everything freezes and
it's stupid. It's and you know the crazy thing is, like, for example, you're playing on one of the newest devices out there for iOS. Or the newest device, I should say.
Yeah.
And I'm playing with like a 3 or 4 year old device now, and even so, with me playing on that, both of us are experiencing the same issues. I know Android has had horrible issues, worse than us. Some of them can't even get in game or can't load.
Android always gets a short stick. I think that is also one kind of like major. The only reason, I would say, the only reason why Alliance War season hasn't been cancelled, I believe, is because that Spider-Ham crash and crashing in general was, if I'd had to guess, about 80%, 85% Android users, and typically towards the higher end of the game, tier 1, top end masters and stuff like that, people who like really go for the wins in war where every single death counts, are largely playing iOS devices. For instance, like in our alliance, I think we maybe, I'm not entirely sure, maybe have had one issue with that Spider-Ham crash, right? But I also know that there's a very, very big issue in lower parts, lower groups, and I suspect that it is because, and I'm afraid to draw some sort of stereotypical conclusions here, but it's, I think, because typically most of the high-end players are using iPhones, the ones that are in like top-end master alliances,
or at least iPads. Yeah, iPads or iPhone.
And I think that's why it's affecting the lower tiers more so. And as we're speaking about these bugs, I think Spider-Ham definitely deserves special address, because that has been a nasty experience.
Yeah,
many
so
people are
interesting thing-
legitimately raging out of this game right now.
Yeah, we even had people at the beginning of the month when it first started that if they pulled Spider-Ham, it would crash their game.
Yeah.
The model was just not programmed correctly with the new update or something, because he was, which makes no sense because it's not like he just came out. He's been out for a month now, and as of when the update came out, and for some reason they couldn't get it right. And then add to that yeah, there was issues where like if he was in war or something, he'd crash the game, and obviously that'd count as a attack bonus loss and stuff. I don't think anybody, at least not that I'm aware of, was doing that on purpose, like placing Spider-Ham.
I have seen screenshots though. I have definitely seen screenshots where Spider-Ham is at the beginning of every single part.
Oh, okay. Well, that's shitty. Like for example, I've been placing Spider-Ham on defense for the past month, but so before this issue even came up. But we only have one in our battle group because diversity, and we only have one, and it's mine. So I didn't feel so bad. I've run into Spider-Hams. I haven't run into an issue where I've seen more than one, maybe two on a map. I don't even think I've seen two, though, honestly, when I've come up into it. But the people that are doing that, it's hard to kind of crack down on that, because you're just... If Kabam's not fixing it, you can't blame the player base for taking advantage of something that Kabam is allowed to happen.
You should. I mean, that is generally a
shitty
shitty thing to do. I mean, like,
it's a shitty
I
thing
understand
to
it's a
do,
competitive game mode and all of that, but you don't want to win like that. Look in the mirror and think about, is that really the kind of like win you want to take?
These crappy alliances, absolutely. That's the kind of win they want to take, because Kabam doesn't address the issues. That's the problem. I think Kabam should have shut down the war season.
Yeah, I agree probably with that. Kabam probably should have shut down the war season at that point. I think, again, the reason why they didn't is because it didn't really affect the top end nearly as much, because it typically kind of like, well, I haven't heard as much in Tier 1. People dying to that. Speaking of that, if you're still having issues with Spider-Ham, or if you're still afraid, for instance, if you see Spider-Ham in offense, here is a post from my alliance. So, Spider-Ham bag solution. Try to duel Hot Rod, right? So, Hot Rod would be the player, presumably, whose top champion is Spider-Ham. And use the same attacker, because apparently it also depends which attacker you're going to use, like whether it's going to break or not. If the duel starts with no issues, you're safe to fight him in Alliance War. When a player cannot duel him and game crashes, you won't be able to start the fight in AW as well. So this is a message that was sent to my alliance earlier today, I believe, or maybe yesterday.
Yeah,
so,
that's a really good solution, but why isn't Kabam saying that? Like, why did it have to be your alliance that figured that out?
And we can do that right now to see, like, for instance, as it goes through. So the name is Hot Rod, right? So
you know, try and duel him maybe with a couple champions.
Just to make sure that it is in fact still factual, right? So I'm gonna, 1 second, switch to the middle cam here and close the camera, open this, and yeah, I think we're good to go here. So let me try and just do that. So let's go with Hot Rod.
Real quick, just a reminder to everybody, this is a podcast. We do not read comments typically at all. Very rarely. We do see the chat, but we do not read them like a typical stream because it's in the form of a podcast. So it's just KT and I talking about things.
Whoopsie, I accidentally sent a friend request to Hot Rod. It's all good though. It's all good.
Well, you know they're gonna accept. They're gonna be like, "Oh, it's friggin' KT. Of course I'm accepting."
Okay. Anyway, so he has a 6-star rank 3 Spider-Ham. So let's say obviously we're gonna bring in the Spider-Ham killer here. It's gonna be Venom. No waits for you, little game crasher. Let's see if my game crashed. No, my game started fine. So I suspect as much because I have been also free to use Spider-Ham. Also free to use Spider-Ham like offensively. I got the 5-star not too long ago, and yeah, the piggy went down quite quickly.
If you're able to use him too, from what I've heard, that you typically you're okay.
Yeah.
But you know it's good to know.
But again, if you don't have him or something. Anyways, either way, this is, I think, a good kind of like solution here. That not solution, but let's say diagnostic tool.
Workaround. Yeah.
That people can use.
They can at least diagnostically look at it. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, speaking of that, unfortunately, I have seen the screenshots floating about with like 5 spider cams placed on like every single path, and just quite nasty if you ask me. Do that as an alliance, like definitely shame on you. Shame on you. If I had my soundboard handy, I'd play a clip.
I think we should leave that out of the.
Yeah, I know. I'm just joking.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's just become a cluster. Honestly, a cluster. That's how bad it is. It's bad. It's bad that they're allowing these kind of things to go on, and in all honesty, giving players an advantage. I mean, the people that, let's say everybody had a spider ham and they placed it on every node. I mean, that would be crappy too, you know.
Well, that's pretty much the situation that I have seen, and imagine like, and that's it, you have lines and stuff.
Yeah, it's not a right way. People should not be trying to win wars that way. There's always going to be the a-holes that decide that's what they're going to do, and they do that. I don't agree with that. I also don't agree with changing your whole strategy of your defense just because of something that Kabam did. So like I said, like I've been using mine on defense. I'm not going to change that because it's not, and not only that, it hasn't got a kill. I mean, they've been taking it down no problem the past like 3 wars.
And he's not like the hardest defender. Like I can understand him being on defense because obviously he's capable defender, but he's not Korg or Thing or something.
Yeah, but he's just not hard to fight.
There are a few more things though. I think it was Karate Mike's last AW video. And I have had this brought up to me by a number of people, and somebody in chat actually here as we are recording mentioned apparently Apocalypse can smack Ghost through phase for whatever reason.
Yes.
This is also
I forgot about that.
Quite interesting because again, it's very important because Ghost obviously is a champion that many people use offensively, both even on Stubborn and especially on the Protect, because you can consistently intercept and remove the Protect. And then obviously Apocalypse is a staple defender at this point, you can see in any war.
Yeah, it's frustrating that that's another issue. It seems, it almost, and I mean, the cynical part of me is saying that Kabam is doing this because they're basically, this is a quote-unquote bug, but in reality, it's like every good champion or new champion or something, it's like, has some issue all of a sudden. Like, think about it. Ghost, Aegon, we know Blade had an issue. We know Corvus has an issue. We know that Omega Red has an issue. These aren't like, it's not like Deadpool
That's the thing that confuses me most. It's not a new champion coming in the game. It's not a bug that is previously served. It's just like a random thing breaks for no flipping reason.
But it's the good champions. Now, granted, you could argue it's because those are the most used champions, so therefore that's the most likely to be found an issue. But, you know, Nick Fury, Aegon, Blade,
Ghost, Omega Red,
Corvus,
all of the top game
Ghost,
champions apparently have issues currently.
Yeah, all of the top tier champions all of a sudden have issues.
Quake's cool,
call BS.
Quake's cool. Quake's alright.
Quake apparently, well, unless, you know, all of a sudden, like, something crazy happens and you just haven't found it yet. But, I mean, that's the conspiracy theorist in me. I don't think that's actually what's happening, because that
but there's really always a little part of you that kind of, like, goes that way.
We've just been screwed over by Kabam so much, legitimately, that they've acknowledged that it's like, how can you not think that? And don't dare ever type a question like that in the forums, because you'll get banned permanently, because they'll think that you're inciting this kind of drama and
there's another thing
though,
that
aren't true.
I definitely have to mention, right? And again, it's probably something Kabam would never ever admit to. But another thing that I had noticed, like as I said, like I just grinded out for Jubilee. For those of you who joined recently, by the way, I did manage to snap Jubilee like 266 with a score of like 50.2 million or something like that. So quite down there, but I got her, which is cool. I'm gonna record a video for, and probably we're gonna have some 5-star rank 3 gameplay soon. But as I did this grind, as casual, as laid back I was about it, I noticed the fact that never had I ever seen AI trigger dexterity as often against me. they were like legit sidestep intercepting me. I was dashing in, they triggered Dex, and they dropped a light hit in my face.
Yes. I noticed that too. It seems the AI behavior. I don't understand it because they didn't say they updated in the behavior, but all of a sudden all these bugs happen, and then all of a sudden we're having godlike arena matches.
Yeah, exactly. It's like AI pulls off plays that at times I can't do consistently at this point. It's like they're legitimately in the middle of the screen, sidestep intercepting me, triggering Dex like no problem, and just smacking me in the face. It's not like I lost my streak or anything.
Yeah.
I think I lost like 1 or 2 fights because I was careless, but
yeah, it just cost you some health or made it a little bit more dodgy than it would have been had it been a
or
normal
whatever.
fight.
But it was just like a bit, you know, it's like, It definitely took me out, like, because AI is one of those game modes where you kind of like pay 1% attention to the screen and 99% attention to whatever else you're doing. Kind of like just go through the motions, and all of a sudden it kind of like shakes you up. Like, what happened? Like, why am I getting hit in the face?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I don't know. You know, the amount of bugs we've seen this month, I want to say, even though it hasn't brought the game down like it did October of, what was it, 2020? Or no, not 2020, I'm sorry, 2019?
Pretty similar level of
It's similar level, yeah, because it's not, while the game is not down, it's causing issues that have continued for weeks now.
Yeah, I mean, and it's legitimately causing a lot of people to use extra potions in AQ, it's causing deaths in AW, and potions, and those are very expensive often. And
yeah,
then
I can tell
we have people who are unable to push on content, or, well, let's not say they're unable to, let's say they shouldn't, because the game's not working properly and they have their items expired, or even if they don't have the items expired, just the fact that you can't play the game properly because of no fault of your own. Like, you have time this weekend, you're not gonna have time for next 2 weekends, for instance. Like me, I was in furlough and getting back to work on Monday. And had I planned to do something very serious in the game, if I was unable to do it right now, then that obviously is a huge problem. That Kabam is not providing this service that they should.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all why this is going uncorrected. You know, like, when there's a pro player bug, Kabam corrects it quickly. They don't know what's causing it, but they find it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll find it.
And it seems like when everything happens here, they don't fix it.
Oh, it's very simple because they treat those bugs like they owe them money.
Yeah. Exactly. But why is it their bug squashing team can't fix these other ones? I mean, and their communication's god awful. I dislike the forums because the forums make people...
Oh, yeah, I stay away as well.
They like gaslight them. They gaslight them. They try and make them seem like you're crazy for having this issue, even though you have physical video proof.
50,000 Kabam White Knights as well, who will say it never happened, and if you post proof that it happened, they're gonna emphasize how it doesn't matter and how you suck as a human being for bringing it up, and as a player for not being able to work around it or something.
Yeah,
I generally stay away, man. There are good people on forums, but my god, it's just huge human dumpster fire there. Cesspool of the most ridiculously, I don't know, ill-sighted people.
I've also found, and this is another thing that's been kind of interesting, I've also found the AI for Alliance Quest, for sure, is less likely to throw specials during this past few weeks also. It's been really weird.
I don't know about that, though. I
noticed it, but I didn't know if that's something. It could just be, you know...
Still Deathless in season, by the way. 1 war left.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
And I've taken buttload of fights, I think most in my Alliance, and Battle Group, definitely, so... Quite cool, quite happy about that.
Good job.
Just don't mess it up on the last war.
I was gonna say, with all the issues we're having and everything, that's pretty amazing to say something like that. So
yeah, so hopefully I earn a cookie.
Yeah. So
right. Anyways, we have to move on to the next one, which obviously is the mandatory conversation, right? At this point, which is still unfortunately bug related, and that's compensation.
Yeah, compensation, man. What do you think? I mean, I'm not one that usually champions for it either. Like whenever they give us compensation, Like, the last time I think they really deserved to give us one was back in October 2019. That was whenever we had major issues and the game was out. And I want to say, I think that was when they even canceled War Season ahead of time. Like, all this stuff happened. But as much widespread issue as it's affecting pretty much anyone on Android. It's affecting iOS and iPad users in different ways. I feel like there should be some compensation packet that should happen. Now, that doesn't mean I think that everybody should get, what do you call it, like 10 stars or something like that or anything like that. But there should be units or something given back to you of what you've used
They'll
over the
never
last,
give
like,
you
2
units.
weeks. Yeah, well, you know what they should do? They should give you back your inventory back to where it was before, like, 2 weeks ago. Anything you've used item-wise should be given back to you. Because that's what I feel like would be fair compensation.
Well,
now, I don't know
here
if
is
they could do
exactly the problem that I'm facing right now. For instance, I obviously sympathize to anyone having an issue right now.
Right.
Or having suffered issues that died in Alliance Quest or Alliance were purely because of those game crashes and bugs and everything else. At the same time, I don't really see a reasonable way how Kabam can assess the damage in between affected players. Because as I mentioned myself, like, yes, I have crashed a couple of times and I lost like half a health of my champion here and there, but ultimately, don't think I have really had to use any extra items. I have been thankfully safe from Spider-Ham crash. Aegon, I have done all the content that's out there that's kind of like, you know, important. So I didn't have any content to push through, so I wasn't affected like as much by those bugs using there. And what I'm trying to get at, and this isn't like meant in any arrogant or mean way at all, I don't think I deserve anything because my life really hasn't been inconvenienced that much. Some annoyance is small, but I can live with that. And I'm sure there are hundreds and thousands of players like me. At the same time,
that's why I was saying it should be. I mean, I don't know how hard it is to do it. I'm sure it's a pain in the ass.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think it's really plausible. Plus, obviously, then you would have the outliers.
But that's what I'm saying. There should be, like, reset everybody's inventory or give them back the resources that they've used in the last 2 weeks. I mean, that's the simple fix.
Well, no, because then if you go and you waste it all on purpose by pushing content you wouldn't otherwise have done.
Well, no one knows. Yeah, it's not like they're going to say, okay, we're going to refund everything. It'd be the date had already passed when they announce it. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't think it would work or would accomplish the goal. Kind of like, because the goal of compensation is always kind of like repay for the inconvenience. If you're doing a base and you use 30 revives and whatever else from your stash, okay, you didn't know about that, but the bug didn't cost you 30 revives. Might have cost you 5. Why do you get 30 back?
Right.
And keep in mind, it's Kabam. They will always be on the side of give as little as possible back.
Yeah, but I think this time you can't look at it that way.
Well,
I mean, there's been way too many issues. They've got to do something that it may be considered even unprecedented. They've got to do something because otherwise, they're starting off the year this way. Think of it that way.
First of all, there hasn't been any public mention of them even acknowledging the fact that there should be a compensation or agreeing to that.
Oh, I know. Because if anything was brought up in the forums per se, they would shut it down immediately. It'd be gone. We'd never see it. So I don't know.
Yeah, so
I
I think first of all we're gonna be lucky if we get anything. Definitely not gonna be much. It's gonna be some consumables, I believe. So we'll see what happens with that. We definitely need to keep an eye. So if you ask me, I think compensation should be there. But when you ask about amount or who should get it or how much you should get or what items, then the answers will be all over the board by everyone.
Yeah, it's gonna be all over the board. I mean, that's the problem because
Shut up and take my money.
I feel like
Flour,
I had
64
some
ounces,
issues, however,
$2.
it wasn't
2 lumps for
probably
your tea.
It probably wasn't as large as people like running Android.
Yeah,
you know what
no,
I mean?
I agree, but that's something that's kind of impossible to determine. So again, and it's one of those kind of like Kabam, like, it's broken, Kabam, please fix kind of situations. Like, you don't really offer like a solution to the mounts, and they need to get to the bottom of it. I know it's a problem that they themselves created, either by incompetence or whatever else, but looking to proper suitable mounts, I just don't see any plausible way how you can evaluate that, even if you have all the data on individual accounts, because you don't know about people's motivations or why they spent what items for what.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
again, you could look at it as just, I don't know. There's no real good way that you're gonna 100% correct, but you got to do something. Put it that way.
Yeah,
if I'm
they
Kabam,
definitely should do something.
there should be something done, and it's gonna be an all or nothing kind of thing. There's no way to say, well, KT didn't do anything extra, so we're not gonna give him anything. It is gonna be people that are gonna get it that probably didn't experience the problems, but you know what? End of the day, it's better to be safe than sorry. If you want to protect the integrity of your community and the people that spend money on your game, that's what you want to do.
Yeah, of course, I agree. We'll see what happens. Kabam is yet to make a proper like announcement, a proper acknowledgement, if you will, of the severity of the issues, because like, judged by the amount of how many people have messaged me, it's pretty much as bad as it has been. There's some people in my core group, which are the people that help me out with like graphics, which you're in, and do my chat moderation and stuff like that. And then they're level-headed people, always very pragmatic, and they're like flipping out. I woke up like a barrage of messages about like just persons raging.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna turn off. The longer they take to address it, to acknowledge it,
MRWTF $2.99. Cabin is Canada's Trump.
It's going to, it's the longer they take, it's going to piss more people off.
Oh yeah, and if they don't do anything at all,
well, that's going to piss even more people off.
It's also an option. It wouldn't be the first time.
It's possible they may never address it. I mean, it is very possible. Will it hurt them in the end? I don't know.
Well, again, ultimately, like, every kind of, like, situation like this does hurt them quite a bit. When the game goes down, obviously, they're unable to make money, and people put down the game or forget or get outraged and just leave it be. And situations like this, if you go in there and every other good champion that you have ranked up is bugged, I'm 100% sure, without a question in my mind, that there have been dozens or hundreds of people who have quit the game because of the issues this month.
Yeah.
Which sucks, because ultimately we like to rip on Kabam, but we also like this game to do well. My personal interest is for this game to grow and become as popular as it can be, because it helps me, obviously. More people play it, more people would watch my videos, like, ideally.
And that's where the community is. I mean, the community is amazing, top notch. If you go out of the forums, if you leave the forums alone, the community is top notch. And that's what's sad, is I think the community is what's kept the game going so long. But
Speaking of
they're going to continue.
Yes. We have a Discord.
Oh yeah.
That you can join and be a part of it. You can find me on it, you can find Mandalorian, there are recruitment chats, all sorts of cool stuff happening. So the link will be in the description of the stream, but it also just popped up in the chat as well. So if you haven't joined the Discord, do so, because there is the coolest function ever, which is an automated bot that sends you a notification every time I upload anything on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, with that being said, with all the bad stuff, what about the stuff moving forward that we have upcoming? Now, we don't know anything for sure. Other than the only for sure thing we know about thus far is that Strife is coming out. That's the only thing we know for a fact.
Yeah, we have actually, which again was like an accident hashtag, let's say, quote unquote self-leak. We have had footage of Strife in action. I'm gonna be 100% honest when it comes to Strife, and again, I'm not gonna spend too much time discussing it.
No.
Because I technically wasn't supposed to see the video either, but and I don't mean this in any bad mean way. After watching the set footage, wasn't overly impressed. Like, it was decent. There has to be more to kind of like wow and woo me. What do you think?
I kind of agree. I don't think that anything has been shown or leaked yet that has made him seem... Oh gosh, what's the word to say? He's not the mutant Aegon, he's not the mutant Corvus, he's not any of those things.
He did look quite decent, and again, keep in mind that wasn't like max rank, and there was like no...
He wasn't like fully ramped up or whatever, or maxed up.
Yeah,
but...
I'm sure there will be like full-on boost, full-on max rank, max sig, max everything. That will be quite nutty. But I'm still quite excited though. If for no other reason, him being at least alright or good champion, he could be great. I don't know yet. He could be amazing.
He could. No, I mean, that's the thing. We have no idea. We're going to have to wait. We're still a week. Well, actually, I would say this Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll probably get the early access bundles. Yeah. That's the first we'll start seeing. We'll probably start seeing things on Monday or Tuesday from the Communist Party, posting official videos about him, trying to get us hyped up for him. But yeah, I don't know.
One more thing to strive, and that is that Apocalypse energy. That Apocalypse energy seemed quite nutty.
The Apocalypse energy is great.
That's one stream that's definitely 100% coming to this channel. As soon as I acquire Strife, I'm taking Apocalypse back in Labyrinth of Legends to see what the bad boy can do now.
I definitely would love to see that, because as someone who really just has recently obtained a 5-star and rank 5 Apocalypse, I definitely would like to see what he can do with that synergy, because I'm going to try and push for Strife on the arena if I can. So
yeah, his cutoff though definitely will be higher in Jubilee. The Jubilee first is higher than I thought it would be. It looks like it was like 46, 47 million or something close to that. But I expect Strife to be probably like 70 plus.
Yeah, I would say he's probably... Well, I wouldn't say 70 plus is the low end. I think you're going to need to go 70 plus to guarantee him. I think he's going to be probably in the 60 range.
Oh.
I don't know what 60 range. Probably the mid to high 60s as the 300.
Oh. As it comes closer, I'm sure that we're going to see more people put out their predictions.
We'll see.
And we'll see hopefully I do get time to grind for him as well. I could maybe use some units. I do have some arena boosts and stuff as well that I could try and...
Same. And I was gonna say maybe you just get sick.
I don't think that could work, but either way, let's do is try. We do have a couple of things more that we want to talk about that I personally found more interesting, because I want to have something nice, something positive to discuss. And thus far, everything has been a little bit down and a little bit, this sucks, that sucks, and meh.
We don't want to be the community of it sucks, everything sucks.
So
we want to have
we also want to talk about positives, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to be able to share what the community is best about, and that's rallying together and talking about what we want to see happen and stuff we're excited about.
Yeah, and speaking of positives, I think nobody will dispute the fact that one of the best things over the last 6 months, or at least last a while, that has happened in Marvel Console Champions has been the launch of Book 2 after it had been reworked, because obviously the first goal was quite rough, but at the time it eventually came to us.
Yes, it was very rough. The first beta made it look like It made it look like a more amped up version of Act 6, and it was hell. It was literally hell. I remember playing it, and literally on the first path, I don't remember what path it was, but I remember it was a path, and I think there was a saber tooth on it, and I was like, F this game, I'm out. I just stopped. I was like, no. So yeah, I was very much like, I'm probably going to quit this game if this is the way the content's going, because I just don't want to deal with this anymore.
I think many people were like that. That content really outraged a lot of people. It really did.
And that's what was so sad, because we know they can do better. Because the Grandmaster fight was a challenging fight, but it proved that you could do it with any champion. You know what I mean?
And I think that was kind of like the saving grace for Act 6, so to speak, because the final boss was fun, challenging, but fun.
And then obviously, eventually we did get 7.1.
Yeah.
And when it comes to 7.1, actually, again, let's take a look. Let's start with the rewards, and then we can talk about all the coolest
sure,
we
yeah,
enjoyed about 7.1, and we want to carry on in 7.2. Like, rewards-wise, it was quite alright. I like the fact that there was pretty much no 5-star stuff. All the items, all the gems, all the crystals, all the catalysts that we got were the ones that we can use in 6-star champions.
And you know what was great about that? It's because if you're only allowing us to bring in 5 and 6 stars, and the future of the game is 6 stars, Act 7 should be 6 stars. And that's exactly what they did. It was the best thing they could have done. You wanted that before. I remember when we were talking about it, and I wasn't sure if Kabam would do that, but I think it was the best pro player move was to get rid of all the 5-star stuff and give us just things to rank up our 6 stars.
Yeah, and compare that to 6.1, which would be the comparative, let's say, rewards progression. We had tier 4 class catalysts there. We even had 5-star rank 2 to 3 rank up gem.
Yeah,
kind of
lame stuff,
yeah.
Not the best.
What was that? 5-star rank up gem crystal 3 to 4, some tier 4 basics and stuff like that. So we had 5 and 6-star stuff. Primarily the 5-star and not even the high-end one. And now, then we flip back to 7.1. The rewards were actually the things that I personally really cared about. Could have been better, could have been a bit juicier, obviously. But all in all, quite solid. Finally got some 6 stones.
Yeah. Got the selector for 100%, 25% selector, which was nice. You got a Nexus crystal. You got a lot of gold. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but you got a good chunk of gold.
Actually, the gold was the biggest letdown because I think 6.1 had more gold.
I think we talked about this. We would have liked to have seen the gold be doubled, if not 2.5 for the 100%. I think we talked about that. But they gave us out like the materials itself. The 6-star to rank 1 to rank 2 gem was awesome. The Nexus, the 10k shard, so you could either open a 6-star right away or go for a featured if you wanted to get more. You know, you got the generic 6 stones, plus you got 20 once you 100%ed it of the class base, random base, but still those would help out. A lot of T5CC. It was nice. I think 7.2 has to expand on this. I don't think you can just give the same thing.
Yeah.
Definitely you're going to need more gold.
What I think what's going to happen in 7.2, I don't think we're going to see much more in terms of rarity, because this is about as rare as it gets. I don't think we're going to see a 6-star awakening gem, because that typically doesn't happen in mid-quest. I don't think we're going to see 2 to 3 rank up gem. I still think we're going to see 1 or 2 rank 1 to 2 rank up gems, maybe a generic one.
I was going to say maybe a generic this time, and then save the 2 to 3 for the Act 7.3, and then a generic 2 to 3 to 7.4. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but I do hope that we see a little bit more in tier 5 CCs.
I would imagine you may get because what were the percentages of the completion? What's that one? Is it 25%?
I think that all 25% is.
So maybe they'll give you a 25% and a 10% or a 5% in addition.
Possibly. Or they could just do 25%. Need more signature stones though. I would like to see double the on signature stones, or at least 1.5, like 30 generics and like.
I was gonna say I would like to see 30 generics for 100%, and maybe 15 and 15 for the class base, or 15 and 20.
But overall, I think obviously the reward structure for me personally, the way I look at it, is quite alright. I'm not having too much issue with that. Just obviously up the quantities of the content is likely going to get harder.
Yeah, it'll get harder, but if it stays the fun like this was, like, you know, using unique champions, unique 6-stars, you know, they got that ability to have a little bit more attack power with the Fury they got. They could even, they could do all kinds of stuff. They don't have to just give you more attack value. It could give you like, you heal every 15 seconds.
Yeah, obviously they can make all sorts of quirky exclusive. But
yeah, it'd be
as
nice.
we go into that content difficulty level, right? So I know that obviously everybody at the moment is absolutely 100% in love with 7.1, and so people should be, because it is one of the most fun pieces of content, definitely most fun act content I think that we have had ever. Tons of cheese, tons of funny, cool interactions, big yellow numbers, all sorts of cool stuff. 3 bosses. Here is the thing though, and again, you need to refer to the baseline story of Act 6, just like we did with the rewards. And I believe I can say it with no exaggeration or liberties here myself, that 6.1 is miles easier than 6.2, 3, and 4. I think same it was with Act 5.1. 5.1, nobody in history of ever has asked me to help or that they have gotten stuck. Everybody's asking for help in 5.2, same as they are in 6.2.
That's true. Yeah,
albeit I do expect the content to be more fun and more open, I also expect it to be significantly more difficult.
Yeah, I think the difficulty is going to be a little bit. It's going to be based on roster. I think it's going to be more tuned, so it will be difficult, but you'll get some added benefits, maybe kind of like I said with 6 stars, or maybe a certain class or something like that. It would be nice to see kind of something like that to make it a little bit more unique. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I expect it to be snazzy and jazzy and fun and some cool interactions. But I do also expect that it's not going to be, oh, look at me, I'm going in day 1 and I finish it itemless. Yeah, I'm so cool. I expect it to be a bit more in terms of what happened when 6.2 came out, where you kind of go like, what the... Oh, I better get my boost up.
I think also if you're looking at it as a whole, and I know we're jumping ahead, we're talking about 7.2, but 7.4 not showing a picture there is leaving open to the big bad we probably got teased in the anniversary video.
Yeah, probably.
But we don't know for sure. But I'm just saying, but for 7.2, I think what we're going to see is a lot of the things we love from Chapter 1 of 7. Or Book 2, whatever you want to call it. But we're going to see a little bit more of challenges, a little bit more tweaks to keep us on our toes.
I think it's going to be a lot more.
And I think the rewards will go up a little bit, but nothing too crazy.
I am generally, personally, kind of half expecting a bloodbath. I wouldn't also be surprised if we have to fight Karina in there. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a new progression title associated with 7.2.
Yeah, and you talked about this before, because 5.2 had a progression title, 6.2 had a progression title. Why would they not have a progression title with 7.2? Which lines up with what we were talking about the Sigil store having a featured 6-star for 13,000 charge, where Uncollected gets a 5-star feature for 13,000. Yeah. But with a 5-star feature.
Yeah, I do generally think we are on the cusp of no progression title. Also, just a quick fix that 6.1 had a new progression title. That's why I also thought it could be possible in 7.1, but they probably didn't do that because of the Thronebreaker retroactively attached. But what I think ultimately is a very, very good thing for game when Kabam is introducing more and more of these progression titles, because it lets them lump people together more and more specifically and effectively, and we don't have to deal with as many issues like we saw on the July 4th, or not July 4th, but the Black Friday and stuff like that, and just like the offers, daily things and stuff like that, because the more specifically they group the players in the game, the more specifically they can target their needs and tune the content and tune the rewards for it. So, I really do hope that we see like a progression title in like 7.2 and then possibly another one at the end, just so there are more and more of these fractions in.
And I think we need to kind of tell everybody, we don't anticipate 7.2 to come out before maybe April at the earliest.
February, March.
So it's not going to be, because some people were saying, do you think they'll release another title so soon after Thronebreaker? Well, Thronebreaker came out in October. I would see them releasing another one and lumping Thronebreaker plus the new title in the same deal. So you're not going to get like a new set of deals or something.
Oh, eventually you might.
Maybe, but I think that'd be more saved for
But I think
the
it's a good
future one
thing, regardless, because previously Cam had a wonderful article about it, where he said that Kowalian difficulty could encompass anything from these extreme challenge YouTuber side accounts that achieve it in 1 week, and people who had played the game for like 5 years and had like plethora of highest ranked champs. That was such a wide, oversized category that there was no way Kabam could effectively care for the needs of all the group based on the title, which is what these titles are for. So if they want to mitigate that, they need to add as many as quickly as they can, and people shouldn't be stressed that they're not on the highest anymore, because the whole idea of it is not to change the highest one anymore, but for you to be in the range of the players where you actually belong, and how the items and stuff and rewards themed for you. So in that case, you could get better rewards than people that are below you, and more actually tuned for your accounts. And because like, if you're Thronebreaker right now with 1 rank 5, with 1 rank 3 6-star that's maybe unawakened, you just ranked it up or whatever, right? Signature stones mean something completely different to you than somebody who has 15, 20, or 25 rank 3 6-star. So on and so forth. So they can more carefully tend to the needs of the players.
KTea, here's another thing I just thought of too, because you did correct me. It wasn't 6.2, it was 6.1 that had the title. So let's back up real quick. 5.2 came out and gave us the uncollected title, right?
Yeah.
Then we had 5.3, 5.4, 6.1. 6.1 was 3 chapters later, gave us another title. Mm-hmm. Then we had 6.2, 6.3, 6.4, Thronebreaker title. Mm-hmm. So maybe they may not give us a new title till chapter 7.3.
Maybe. Again, this is pure speculation. It's completely
possible.
Well,
speculation, but what I'm saying, that may even give it a little bit further than as close as what people are thinking. But when you think about it, Uncollected and Cavalier are very similar. They came out a long time apart from each other, but you can get Cavalier pretty quickly after getting Uncollected nowadays. Yeah. So that's why these people are able to challenge. It's harder to get Thronebreaker after immediately becoming Cavalier unless you've been playing the game a long, long time and you're in high competitive alliances like Alliance Quest and Alliance Wars. So Thronebreaker has kind of fixed that issue. The next title is going to lump in with Thronebreaker until it starts exceeding that, and then it'll go to another title that'll probably come in after that also. So I do think you're right. I think there's going to be more titles. I think we may be assuming 7.2 is the title. It may actually be 7.3, and then another one for completing 100% of 7 as a whole.
Again, both of those things are perfectly plausible.
Yeah.
And I have no reason
I'm just trying to think of it from
a
logical progression standpoint. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I also do think that the next title, whatever, will have some sort of additional requirement than the Thronebreaker did, though.
Well, and we talked about this before. We think the chat actually had mentioned this. I think it was last KT time that it could be that you have to have 1 rank 3 of every class.
Or it could be
minimum.
Just 10 rank 3s or something. Kind of like how you get grouped in incursions. Because incursions as well just tells you how that many 5-star champions or 6-stars to be in that group.
But the thing is it's possible they could say you have to have 1 of every rank 3 plus a total of 15 or 10 rank 2s or something.
Yeah, or just have total of 10 rank 3s or something.
I don't know if they'll go that ham.
Well, they probably won't go as
high.
I'm just giving you an example. I'm just saying that they should. I'm not saying that they should, because I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't necessarily agree with it being placed in Thronebreaker or whatever, because it obviously caused a lot of issues in the game, especially the way they introduced it. I think they missed the mark completely by introducing Thronebreaker title retroactively. However,
it's going to be interesting.
However, there are more. I'm not saying that there should be. I'm just thinking that there will be some sort of ranked roster requirement.
Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be a roster requirement with every progression title at some point. I just don't know how much it's going to increase. I don't think they'll go ham, but they may, like I said, they may do a hybrid of you have to have a certain number of rank 2s and like 1 of each class of rank 3s. That would seem plausible to me. I'm not saying it's 100%, and I'm not even the one that came up with the idea for 1 of each class. That's, like I said, that was someone in the chat last week. But that I could see more plausible than
Yeah.
like a certain number. But who knows?
But yeah, but I do expect, like, we're probably gonna keep a lot of same aspects in 7.2 from 7.1. As in, like, we're probably gonna have several bosses, we're probably gonna be able to swap something out, there might be some new things added in, but I do expect a lot of new mechanics introduced in 7.1 kind of like remaining in the next quest. I don't think there is gonna be gates like it was in 6.2, because I think gates didn't work out, especially with having classified as well. But overall, I do expect there to be, again, multiple bosses. I expect it to remain the same structure of 6 quests. I think that is the perfect recipe. Kind of like 6 quests, 6 paths. Because then you know exactly where you're at and stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing, as it goes on, they maybe add a few more paths to where you have to do, like, let's say, like 7.2, you know, on 7.1 you had 3 bosses on each chapter and you had to do them each twice. Well, maybe 7.2 you have to do some of them 3 times, or maybe all of them 3 times.
I don't think so, because again, quests. When they made the quest too big, a lot of people complained about it, and that's, if you look at 6.1, we have maps with like 8 paths or 10 paths. If you look at 6.2, I think we have 10 and 11 paths, or 10 definitely are there. And then everybody was having issues with that, and with 6.3 and 6.4, both of them were already in the mold of 6 paths per quest. And that has been the case for the last 3 events. So I think that's kind of like the perfect medium, if you will. Not too short, not too big. It's easier for them.
Yeah, because I will say I noticed that with when I'm going for the 100%, I'm almost done with my 100% push now. I've noticed that it's gone a lot faster because there aren't as many paths.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is nice.
So I think that is pretty much kind of like the length they want to keep those quests in, because it's quicker and easier for them to design them, because they don't have as many as design. People approach the quest seriously because it is an ordeal and it is still a journey to explore it, but it doesn't take an overwhelming amount of paths to get there, because like if you have fought the same boss 4 times already and you have like 5 times to go, you're like, oh, F me.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, guys, don't forget, because I see people talking about there'll be a title at 7.4. Don't forget, technically Act 6 had 2 titles just for Act 6 and 3 titles total that came out during that time. So there's going to be multiple titles that come out with this. Now, will it be progression-based titles? At least 1, if not 2, will be, but there could be 3 titles that come out.
I don't think so. I don't see it. Act 6 has 2 titles for that, remember? Cavalier and Thronebreaker.
But Thronebreaker, Cavalier,
and Thronebreaker, where do you get the 3rd one?
Because it's the Breaker of Thrones. It's not a progression title, it's just a title.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I was talking about. Not a progression title, it was a title. That's what I'm trying to say.
But yeah.
So there'll probably be like a title that's not a progression title for 100% of everything on Act 7, but there won't, and then there'll be 2 progression-based titles. That's what I was trying to say.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't speak well.
Yeah, right. However, since Variant 6 came out at the same time, pretty much, week apart, I think.
Yeah.
From Act 7.1, what do you think is going to happen first? Are we going to get Variant 7 or 6.7.2?
I think we're going to get Variant 7 first. The reason being is I think they'll have Variant 7, and then maybe a month later, if maybe even a couple weeks later, they'll have 7.2 come out. And the reason being is because I think we'll see more variants come out in between the chapters than we will be seeing the chapters come out as quick. We may be done with Act 7 by the end of this year, or at least the beginning of next year. But, you know, whenever Variant 6 came out, they sent a survey out to pretty much everybody saying, how many do you want to see, and blah, blah, blah. And we both agreed maybe 4 a year would be nice, 3 at least would be nice variant-wise. I do think that the next variant is going to come before 7.2, and the reason being is we already know what that variant is going to be based on the release schedules of the original quests. So the Rocket and Groot one is the next variant that will be coming out. And again, they can keep the rewards the same as they did for the last 2.
I think next one
the rewards are really good.
Probably going to be the same rewards. I think if you can see rewards increase, it's probably going to be Variant 9, maybe 8. Depending how quickly
because for the most part,
it didn't change dramatically between the first 4.
It didn't change at
Only
all,
5
I think, or pretty much not at all in between second or 1. Something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the rewards can stay the same. It was a nice, fun content using villains only. Maybe they may do heroes only or Guardians of the Galaxy only. They couldn't do just Guardians. They'd have to do like maybe Guardians and Avengers. I don't know.
But I kind of think it could be maybe Cosmic Champions only, or Cosmic Champions get buffs or something like that.
Oh yeah, they could do that
We
too.
have had basically Spider-Verse champions plus Mystics. We have had villains. We have had different star levels. Got Tech champions.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Maybe they could do. But you're right, they could do Cosmic. That's what I was thinking. Maybe Guardians of the Galaxy, the pool is too small, but they could do They could do teams like Defenders, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Avengers all get
and Cosmic or something
on each
like
chapter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's definitely going to be some sort of obviously subset which champions you're meant to use.
Yeah. But definitely would be fun to see what they do with it, because I've enjoyed every piece of the variant content. Even as much as looking back, even as much as I thought variant 1 was a little bit turned up the difficulty more than what I would have liked at that level, it still was good content. It was different. You know what I mean?
I wanted to say, like, variant 1 was way harder before the time it came out because our rosters were nowhere near the level.
Correct.
Because difficulty has remained relatively same or even gotten a bit lower, to be honest. But it was that initial shock, because I remember when I was doing variant 1, I had like 2 rank 5 5 stars, something like that. And then again, I revisited variant 1 like half a year ago, or like 8 months ago or something. And I did it itemless, and obviously with all the new rank ups, with all the new champions that are out there, it wasn't even like that hard. It was longer, it was maybe a bit more annoying, but it wasn't all that, like, you know, what you seem to remember for it. So I think it's just that
it's definitely just because of rosters. I think the people that did it right off the bat, probably that's why. Because most people didn't have a rank 2, much less even a 3. A rank 3 6-star at that point in time. So nowadays it's probably a lot easier if you go back and revisit it. That would probably be an interesting stream to do. You know, go through with a lot higher ranked champion to see how much easier it is now.
Yeah, I was planning to revisit variant 1 again in like a month or next month, or maybe at the end of this month, because this month's quite dry. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. But I think variant 7 is going to be very similar in rewards to 5 and 6. I think that would be fine. I think the challenge will be, like I said, something fun. I feel like people will be able to do it just like they did this one. You know, if you put your grind into it, you can get 100% in a couple days. And just enjoy it, you know, have some nice rank up materials. And I think we'll see that probably March or April. And then, like, maybe between 2 to 6 weeks, we'll see Act 7.2 come out after that.
Yeah, I wanted to say that when it comes to actually the release, kind of like, I kind of expect, I would actually like very much that. If we would kind of get in a rhythm where we have, so if you, let's say, assume that variant 1 comes out, variant comes out 1 month, next month comes out like Act 7 chapter, then we have like a month that something less happens, or maybe a celebrity challenge or something a bit different, or something.
Yeah.
Then the cycle kind of like repeats itself, more or less.
Yeah.
And that for that to happen, let's say by the next year, by end of this year, I think that would kind of like give quite certain set structure, put people at ease, and let us know what's kind of coming, and still keep us excited, because everybody wants to do variants, everybody wants to do new chapters, so active, they're fun and cool. And I think that would be like a perfect system where they release a variant, they release a chapter and act, do like some different event the 3rd month, then maybe take a month in between break, or maybe not, and just go again, variant, chapter, something, variant, chapter, something. I think that would be like finally some sort of.
Yeah, I would even say if they did like every 6 weeks you either got a variant or an act chapter, that'd be nice, because then every 3 months you have a new variant, and every 3 months you have a
or something like that.
Yeah, you never know. Again, I know they could plan that kind of stuff, and that's probably why they haven't announced it, because you never know when hiccups will happen, and maybe they have to squash a lot of bugs, and it could take away resources for planning and stuff like that. But I do think that they've done December. They did very well with all the content. It was a little bit overload, like we talked about before, but with Variant 6 and with Act 7.1, they knocked it out of the park when it came to the rewards versus the content and how they did it. I think they did a very good job. They could have done a little bit better probably, but honestly, I wasn't disappointed. Let's put it that way. I don't think the majority of people were.
Oh yeah, December was a wonderful, wonderful time playing COC. Now January, on the other hand, has had nothing and less than nothing. What's the best thing? When I heard that nothing new is coming in January, I expected nothing, but somehow they still got us all disappointed with all the new bugs. So this was a very, very brutal situation of, I expected nothing and I'm still disappointed.
Yeah, it was, well, I think between the bugs, the lackluster first champion release, and also the fact that the side event was so complicated to not only explain but understand, and then try to explain it to someone else.
No new content,
all that.
And no champion reworks, and no nothing, kind of like things.
Yeah.
I get that there are a lot of people who have plenty of content to catch up, and that's fair.
Sure.
I can't speak from everybody else's perspective. I can speak from mine. And this one sucks in MCOC.
Yeah, well, I just think of the meme of Willy Wonka. You get nothing. Good day, sir. And that's how it is.
You'll get nothing and you'll be happy for it. And you'll like it.
But next month is only, I mean, it's less than 2 weeks away now, buddy.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
We'll be getting some new stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully some new reworks. I'm excited about the reworks. I think we talk about this all the time, but are you still most excited mostly about Yellow Jacket?
I think Yellow Jacket overall, yes, because Yellow Jacket has to have the most dramatic change. Because we have 4 reworks, 2 of them are just value changes, right? So Terex and Mallman should pretty much get no new abilities, maybe hit harder, maybe be more effective, maybe like an odd line of text changed or something, right?
Yeah.
Then we have Kingpin, who isn't greatest champion, but he gets the same level of buff technically as Yellow Jacket. However, he has text. Like, I can go to the game right now, I can pull up Kingpin's in-game ability text, right?
Right.
And so there's Kingpin, I can pull out the text and we can see that there's like signature abilities that would be like, what, 2-3 lines probably. Then we have these rage passives, overpower buff, heavy attack mechanics, special 1 has an effect, special 2 has an effect, special 3. It's not the longest champion sheet, but it has plenty of stuff in it that can be changed, that can be buffed, that can be improved. But let's see what happens when we go to Yellow Jacket's champion sheet. Yeah? Let's open up Yellow Jacket's champion sheet. Count him at Sig 40.
Yeah.
We have 1.5 lines in signature ability, based on 1 sentence. And then we have basically the same sentence associated with every special attack.
Correct.
And then we have 1 more line.
Yeah.
If you want to literally count the lines of text, it would be like, what, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Say, let's be generous, say 10 lines of text. He gets nothing. So ultimately, he's going to be the champion, in my opinion, that comes out the most different. At least, like,
I agree.
Logically looking at it.
And you've got a Sig 40. I believe I have a Sig 20 of 6 stars, so I'm definitely looking at that. And if you want to know who's probably going to get reworked, look for champions with that. Hawkeye comes to mind of having not many abilities. Iron Fist comes to mind not having many abilities. Ant-Man has one of them as well, and there's plenty of them. Any of those champions, like even the old Iron Man, Superior Iron Man, all these champions have very little listed in their abilities. I would imagine that those are ones that are probably going to get the reworks this year. So definitely keep an eye on it. And KT and I were talking, we think it's going to be when they do the 4 at a time, or you know, when they do more than just 2, or maybe when they do 2, maybe it'll be 1 old and 1 new champion, meaning one that came out last year that was just lacking a little bit. You know, we can think of Terex and Mole Man, but Nova's only really good on defense. We've got Airwalker, who's just trash.
Hulk needs a bit of love.
You know, there's some... I'm sorry, say one again?
Hulk needs a bit of love.
Yeah, Hulk needs a little bit of love. So there are some newer champions, and you can even look at 2019 and say Diablo needs a little bit of help. You can say Red Goblin needs a little bit of help. Forgot about him also. Yeah, see, a lot of people that could just benefit a little bit. So
how about let's go buff Jubilee?
I think, yeah, even Jubilee now. I mean, that's the thing. You got to not add duds whenever you're making it. I think they're trying to correct that with the 2 from last year. That's why they're buffing next month. But let's just see. You know, they're going to be doing, I think they said 37 this year is their plan. Obviously, that could change. It could go up or down. But hopefully they keep to their word, and maybe they add more instead of taking any away. And we just see some more. Like I said, end of the day, it's good when you can have somebody pull a champion and not feel dread after saving up resources when they don't get the crystals that often.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. But yeah, I think that will all be, well, that will be pretty much it here for today, I think. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
We have went long enough, hour and 10 minutes. We have more or less discussed what we wanted to discuss. If there's
we did
anything that we forgot, we can address it next week, so leave a comment if there's anything you would like us to talk about more.
Let us know. We love hearing from you guys. If there's something you guys want us to discuss more on these podcasts, let us know. We are always open to the community. While we don't read the chat as much during these podcasts, we always do during the live streams, and that's the best time you guys can give us suggestions for the next week's podcast. We want to be actively growing with you and learning things and talking about things that you care about, because that's what keeps you here and that's what other people want to hear about too.
Yeah, exactly. Besides, most of that stuff's quite interesting. Anyhow, that will be about it for today. I hope you guys, once again, have enjoyed our little conversation here. Let's say a huge thank you to Mandalorian for taking part and keeping me and you all company.
And let's say a huge thank you to KT for being here and always creating such awesome guides and helpful tips and showcases that keeps us around and makes you all here every single day.
Exactly. And I will be back tomorrow. I don't know exactly when, how, and in what form, because I don't know how my work is going to go and how long I'll end up staying and on what state I'm going to get back home to. But I'll definitely upload something tomorrow. And other than that, we're just going to have to play day by day with this whole nice lockdown, corona, furlough, magical time of the life.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, huge thank you, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya.
Bye, guys.
Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information